Today, we are diving deep into the world of the most successful life forms on our planet, prokaryotes. You know, bacteria and archaea. And trust me, we're about to uncover a secret world of diversity and resilience that is way more spectacular than you've ever imagined. Go on, seriously, take a second. If you need to, close your eyes. When I say the word bacterium, what's the very first image that pops into your head? Yeah, if you're like most of us, you probably imagined a tiny, little pill-shaped rod, right? It's that classic image from every single biology textbook. It's kind of become our mental default for what a microbe is supposed to look like. And that is exactly why we're here today, because that simple little rod, it doesn't even begin to tell the real story. The true world of prokaryotes is this incredible gallery of bizarre shapes, shocking sizes, and just unbelievable survival skills. So to get started, let's actually look at that textbook example and figure out why it became our go-to image for all bacteria in the first place. Meet the celebrity of the bacterial world, E. coli. It's a rod, it's about 3 micrometers long, and it is the model organism for basically all of bacteriology. And while it's super useful for research, relying on it so much has kind of given us all a very narrow view of what's really out there. So now it is time to blow that narrow view wide open. Let's meet the rest of the family, shall we? Okay, here's a really crucial point. You and I, we can identify a dog or a cat just by its shape, right? Well, that trick just doesn't work for prokaryotes. You could have 2 identical-looking rods that are less related to each other than you are to a starfish. Their appearance can be incredibly deceiving.
And the sheer variety is just stunning. I mean, forget about just rods. We've got spheres, comma shapes, spirals, these long filaments, and even shapes that look like they belong in a geometry class, not a biology lab.
Let's just look at a few here. You've got these perfect little spheres called cocci, like Streptococcus pneumoniae. Then you've got these elegant spirals, or spirilla, and some, like Streptomyces, they don't even bother with single cells. They grow as these long branching filaments instead. But believe it or not, it gets even stranger. This just goes to show how wild nature can be. Meet Stella humosa. Yep, a star-shaped bacterium. And maybe the most bizarre of all is the Archaean haloquadrata walsey, which forms these perfectly flat, square cells. I mean, how incredible is that? Okay, so we've busted the shape myth. Now let's tackle another big one, size. They're all microscopic, right? Can't see them? Well, not exactly. So on one end of the spectrum, you have these ultra-microbacteria that are less than 0.3 micrometers across, just impossibly tiny. But then, at the other extreme, you get this giant, the sulforbacterium Theomargarita nimibiensis. At up to 750 micrometers, it's not just big for a bacterium, it's big enough to see. We're talking more than 2,000 times larger. Just let that sink in for a moment. A single-celled organism, a bacterium, so large that you don't even need a microscope. You could actually spot it with your own eyes. It completely redefines what we even think a microbe is. So how on earth is this possible? Well, the secret is this ingenious biological hack. You see, most of the cell is actually just one massive storage bubble, a vacuole. It literally shoves all the important living parts of the cell right up against the outer edge. Think of it like pushing all the furniture in a giant room against the walls. This creates a really thin active layer that can easily absorb nutrients, which lets the cell grow to this enormous size without starving itself. Pretty clever. So we've seen their incredible diversity in shape and in size, but that diversity also extends to where they live, which brings us to maybe their most amazing feat of all, the ability to survive almost anywhere. The term for these ultimate survivors is extremophile, and these are organisms that don't just tolerate extreme conditions, they absolutely thrive in them. We're talking about places you'd think nothing could possibly live: scorching heat, freezing cold, intense radiation. To them, that's home sweet home. Just take temperature, for example. We've got prokaryotes that grow in snow at below 4 degrees Celsius. At the other end, some bacteria can handle up to about 96 degrees. But the archaea, well, they leave bacteria completely in the dust. This right here is the current record holder, Pyrolobus fumari. It lives and grows at temperatures above 113 degrees Celsius. That's hotter than boiling water. You find these guys hanging out in deep-sea hydrothermal vents, which are some of the most extreme environments on the entire planet. So let's pull all of this together. what's the big picture here? What does all of this incredible, mind-bending diversity actually mean? Well, let's recap the myths we've busted today. First, the myth of a uniform shape. It's gone. They're a whole gallery of geometric wonders. Second, the myth that they're all microscopic. That's shattered. Some of them are visible giants. And third, the myth that life is somehow fragile. That's history. Prokaryotes prove that life is tough, it's tenacious, and it can thrive pretty much anywhere. And that's the real key. It's not just one of these things, it's all of them combined. Their amazing adaptability in form, function, and habitat that has made prokaryotes the absolute ultimate survivors on planet Earth.